Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. Andy Serling, joined by my good friend Anthony Stabile. It is Friday, December 11th.
Yeah,
11th. It's tough to keep track of the days. A lot going on. A great card today. 9-race card, big fields throughout the day. We're going to get to work on that in a second, but you need to head over to NYRABets.com if you haven't already signed up. You know the drill. You're going to hear it. We're going to drill it into you until every single person is signed up that can be signed up. Use the promo code MATCH200. We will match with $200 initial deposit. Keep the money in the game. It's important when playing to keep the money in racing, to help fund horse racing and keep the game thriving. Help support New York and racing in New York, especially through NYRABets. MATCH200 is the promo code. Also want to remind people the contests, they continue here at Aqueduct every Saturday, $250 buy-in. You have until 5 o'clock today to sign up. So as Anthony likes to say, you've got about 6 hours left, all cash prizes. Register now, NYRA.com/challenge. We have a 50-50 with Tampa today. Still trying to find out that fig on that impressive-looking first-time starter. Joey Migliori was talking about it with me yesterday, that won on Wednesday. The buyer fig still aren't up for Wednesday. I got to call that guy. App only, 50-50. Bet $50 more in each track, get a $10 bonus. Aqueduct in Tampa. Tampa's interesting. Do you play Tampa at all?
I do. We cover it on radio on Wednesdays.
Good turf course. Some good turf racing.
Fantastic turf course. A lot of trainers love to to run their turf horses down there in the winter.
Yeah, good place to send the 2-year-olds over, or the early 3-year-olds, try to break their maidens. A lot to do today, so let's get right to work. I thought this card was chock full of interesting and difficult races. I ended up on the same horse as Mike Beer in a huge number of races today. I looked at him and I thought, geez, we agree a lot. And Mike and I frequently disagree. It's one of the reasons I like looking at his picks. We'll see. We both like some horses that might be some prices, though a couple were scratched. Race number 1. I think there's an awful lot of places to go. You know, with your horse Barista Vixen, who is probably the horse to beat, I know there's a drop down. Doesn't it bother you? I know sloppy sealed attack last time. This horse just seems to be going nowhere.
Yeah, I mean,
she can win. I
don't love the drops for the simple fact that you would have liked to. I probably would have liked to have seen one more try with the special weights off the main track, off the fast main track race.
But this horse is never going to win a race.
But this horse is never going to win, you know, because there's always going to be a Lady Rocket running around that's just better than that.
They only paid $23,000, so I don't think it's really a big deal.
That's the other thing too, right? This isn't necessarily a gigantic drop, because this isn't like a high-priced yearling or 2-year-old. They paid, you know, the proverbial ham sandwich for this. They paid $23,000.
The horse did run, was wide in the Lady Rocket race, the day that the rail was the place to be. That was 3 races back, the last dry dirt track. And the debut, yes, he sucked up picking up the pieces. Orsay, who was heavily bet, turned out to not much racehorse. Summer Fortune, I think, was Jeremiah. I don't think that horse has really done much since that race. I don't disagree. This is the horse to beat. I prefer this horse to the other Mott horse, the 8 Bastet, who's never been on the dirt. There are dirt horses in Bastet's family. I know Pagliacci's probably the better turf horse, but there are dirt horses in there, so I won't be shocked. The problem with Bastet is this horse's form is completely fallen apart.
Awful.
So
Terrible.
it's sort of like, you know, Mott's just sort of taking
ran worse
a shot.
for the tag than she did in the maiden special weight races.
I like Rapido Gatto in here. I know she's had a million chances. I get it. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure why they just got so obsessed with the turf with her. This horse was always a better dirt horse. And the first time this horse was in the barn of Jimmy Ferraro was coming off a significant layoff, so she didn't run very well. Once again, the Lady Rocket race, she was off the rail as well. She didn't really even run that much worse, and she was coming off a layoff than Barista Vixen. And I thought she was sufficiently dressed down because of those turf races. And I know she's had her chances. She has dirt races that will smother this.
Certainly does.
So I don't have any problem with her to price. You know, she's had her chances, but she's going to be a price. Zerenia scares me in this race. Just in the fact that we've seen this, we'll show you a stat for John Terranova. It does seem like these turf to dirt moves, the percentages aren't that high, but as you can see, the ROI is pretty good. And it is a first vol Zerenia. Maybe this horse is just a dirt horse.
Maybe. Good numbers.
I just want to use Terranova in these spots.
Yeah?
Seems like they run. And by the way, did John Terranova turn into John Toscano?
That's sensational.
That's great. So John Terranova apparently is now John Toscano. How did that happen?
Maybe it's like one of those social media apps where they tell you what you're going to look like in 30 years.
But we've had the Terranova thing up for years, and there's been a
well
picture of Terranova. That was John Toscano, in case you're confused. I thought it was Danny Gargan for a second first. But then I realized it was John Toscano. A lot of people like Mamakin.
She was a tip first time out. She didn't run particularly well in either of her
She ran
starts.
against Kiss and Chris.
Yeah, she ran against Kiss and Chris. They went to the blinkers the next time, and she didn't really fire. But it's hard to.
Beer likes this horse, I think. I think Aragona likes this
Haven't
horse.
seen this horse since March now.
Maybe.
And, dropping in for the tag. We'll see.
A lot going on in this race. We'll see what happens in race number 1. I think there are a lot of different ways to go. Race number 2, we'll take a look at Sonic Speed and Martinez running 2-3 in the last turf race these horses ran in. I thought they were the logical horses. I prefer Sonic Speed because the horse is going to be forward in here. On the other hand, we'll see how much speed you get from horses inside. I think Jose Lozcano should be aggressive. I don't know that yesterday's outer turf race was dominated by rail runners. Obviously, the winner was on the rail most of the way with Kendrick. The second horse wasn't really inside, though. The third horse was. Sonic Speed might just be the best horse of the race. I will say one thing about this race, though. It was a slow pace. And you could
had a lot of things go his way.
You could argue that Martinez really ran the better race. I'm just sick of Martinez.
Yeah, me too. I kind of feel the same way.
I'm scared of Vodka Lemonade. Take a look at Vodka Lemonade. What about this horse turning back? I have a stat afterwards that suggests that Maker has good numbers turning back horse in the turf and maidens. And last time out, and this is the first start by Vodka Lemonade, last time out, that was a quick pace. This horse kind of ran off, which is one of the reasons
early.
I think one of the reasons they're cutting back is they felt this horse kind of ran off last time out.
But even after running off, I mean, look at him here.
No, this is a first start. He did not run off in the first start.
Oh, I gotcha.
He ran off last time, actually. This was when he was able to set a very moderate pace at Belmont, and he ran second. But I think off the turn back, this horse is very, very dangerous. And Mike Maker, for what it's worth, turning back maidens, he's got some pretty good numbers.
Yeah, the running off worries you a little bit, right? But with that said, the cutback could very well help this horse. And you know what? Unless one of the firsters or Sonic Speed, and we talked about how Sonic Speed's coming out of a race that kind of developed slowly, 2 starts back on the turf. With Data Deal coming out of here, who had some speed in the past, maybe.
Isn't the rail supposed to go? Don't you think that Farron Peterson's going to send on Ways Boys?
I mean,
I do.
It's hard. Well,
she's aggressive.
Yeah,
she's aggressive. I think she's going from the
rail.
rail.
It's kind of hard to.
I think she's going from the rail.
Okay.
What about the Mr. Hot Cha-Cha? I think that horse could be forwardly placed in here. I don't think that horse is impossible in this race. Wasn't a bad field. I don't think he ran particularly well, but I didn't think he was impossible.
I guess.
The horse I don't like in here that's going to take money is the horse you have second. I don't like Dance.
Why don't you like this horse?
Because I don't think this horse did any real effective running. This horse was absolutely picking up pieces, and I hate that Phantom Smoke race. And I particularly hate horses that are closed in that race. Phantom Smoke came back and ran poorly. I don't want horses that were taking advantage of a quick pace in that race. I thought that race just absolutely collapsed at the end.
Did Phantom Smoke run second the other day? What was that? What did he run? No?
No, the horse that ran second in that race was the horse that had the gold rail trip in the stake.
All right.
Phantom Smoke didn't run well in there.
Okay.
I'm very interested, by the way, on another note, being this Phantom Smoke. I'm very interested to see how all these Clement firsters did winning first time out. I'm very interested to see if those horses can go on, because it's hard enough to win with firsters, but one of the hardest things in this game is to win with firsters and get those horses to go on. Go on, period.
Yep.
Not an easy thing. We'll see. I mean, I think there's a lot of horses in here. You've got Martinez lower than I do. The horse I don't like is the 11. I don't think that horse is really very good, and I think it's dressed up by circumstance.
Fair enough.
See. We'll see what happens. Race number 2 as we are going down to the precious few turf races here. 3 today, 2 tomorrow. I saw these various rain reports. There's really not supposed to be much rain at all this weekend. If anything, it's supposed to be a couple of sprinkles late.
Yeah.
No, late. I saw this morning.
I saw tomorrow morning now.
I saw sprinkles. I don't know about that. I'm very skeptical. I look at my phone.
I still think we're going to be okay tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be any kind of rain that's going to alter anything.
Oh, no, I don't think that. Let's take a look at race number 3 and customer experience down the rail as we move on to race number 3. What do you do with this horse, customer experience? Because, let's be honest, 4-horse field or not, Puffery would be a huge favorite in here. Isn't she just way the horse to beat?
I thought so. One of our friends on Twitter was talking about this horse maybe being a vulnerable favorite today. I didn't see it.
Well, they're all vulnerable to a certain extent. The question is,
I just, if you are looking at recent form, at the very least, this horse she has some consistency.
She runs her the last 2 or 3 races.
Yeah,
She's going to win
she's
this
gonna
race
win.
in all likelihood. I don't trust her. I've never been her biggest fan. I still think a mile is stretching it for her. I know she managed to run well last time, and based on her last race, she's the worst to beat. I just don't wholly trust her in this race, and I wanted to pick slightly against her, but I don't have a big argument against her.
I couldn't make any kind of.
You know,
To be honest with you, I really thought this was a little bit of a 2-horse race.
I don't see that in any respect, seeing it a 2-horse race. I know David likes Benny's. Why do you think Big Benny's Tribute, A, is a particularly good horse, and B, is a miler?
Well, I don't know if I necessarily think she has to be a particularly good horse to win a starter 50. I mean,
She was
they
against
never
much better
tried her.
horses
They
last
never
time,
tried her going long, and she does have. There are some horses.
I don't know if she's got a pedigree to do it, but that doesn't mean she's going to do it.
Well, I'd like.
Why didn't they try?
It bothers me that they haven't tried it yet. It does. It absolutely bothers me that they haven't tried it yet. But I thought this was one of these two.
I don't feel that way.
I know
at
you
all.
don't. I
see
know
this
you
race
obviously don't.
very differently. I think that.
I think if I'll tell you what. I think if Big Benny's Tribute does stretch out, I think she's going to be very tough today.
I'm not her biggest fan. I think overall
Okay.
her form stinks. And I think she's probably run her better races with some moisture in the track, to be honest with you. I know she ran okay on a dry track 4 races back, but I don't know. They knew she was going to win that day. And frankly, she beat Kinky Socks that day, who's not much horse. I'm not a fan. See, I think Fun Finder is dangerous getting back to a dry track. It's been a long time since she's had a chance, and she's got some back races. I don't love her, but I could see a case for her winning this race. I'm scared. What about Chase and Bryn? Horse that you have 4th and I have nowhere. It's a 5-2, second choice in the line, coming off this blowout win with an 80 buyer. The problem is, where is any other race she's ever run that makes her competitive?
Not even close.
So where did this race come from?
There is nothing to. There's nothing about the last race, right? She'd been long before at Monmouth. There was that we know of, no new variable. Right? Maybe they changed some equipment behind the scenes or something.
I think it was a bad field. I think it was just a bad field.
Or it was just she found the right bunch of horses. The 10 length and change victory is more of an optical of just the field falling apart and not having anything behind. I mean, there's a gap of another 5 lengths between the second and third horse. So, I mean, that kind of indicates it was not the best field.
Yeah, I don't like the field she beat. I don't particularly like her in this race. I think Saved by the Bell comes out of a race with the pace held together. The problem is I don't see the fast races for her, but I don't think she's impossible. I took a shot with Behind the Couch, and I will be the first to agree she's too slow. Her last race was a bad field. She's been running against mediocre fields. She's going to be in front in this race. And she has races that are good enough to win this race, and I'm kind of hoping off the claim that Charlie Marquez just sticks this horse in front and wires the field. I don't have any trust for this horse, but I don't trust anyone in here, and I'm going to take a shot with this horse to wire. I'm going to tell the old Anthony, maybe she could get in front of these line. I know her last race are not good fields, but her race 2 back is fast enough to compete in here, and she has races.
She couldn't get in front last time.
Well, she's the speed in here. It's not even close. I mean, if they're on the front with her, then she fell down coming out of the gate.
What about customer experience from the rail? You don't think Joelle's going to be aggressive?
I think she'll be sitting second. I don't think she's very fast. I think this horse will be in front of her. My guess is that she's in front, and I'm hoping she wires the field.
Okay.
Taking a shot with her.
Sure.
Don't love her. Don't like anybody in here. Don't trust either the 1 or 3. I don't like the 3. I know, listen, I respect
If you
your
don't like the 1 or the 3,
No, the
then
one's-
you're supposed to try to get behind the couch and hope they just can't pass.
The one horse can win this race. I just don't want to pick her on top.
Okay.
And I struggled with this race. I struggle with the next race we'll look at, race number 4, because what do you exactly do? Now, Bustin' to Please scratch as we move on to race number 4, and then you're stuck with Fair Regis. I'll show you a stat for Fair Regis, Rob Atras. Not big numbers, doesn't do it very often, but does not have a lot of success.
No. And you want to talk about a dump job. She's in for 10 today.
Well, she's in for 10 after running like a trash.
Yeah. She was 9-5 in the 40 state bred race last time.
She was awful. She never
She
got out of her
was
gallop.
awful.
She never got out of her gallop. How can you trust this horse?
And this is a filly that has had trouble finding the winner's circle.
Well, she'll
this year.
bury this field if
I
she
mean,
shows up.
she beats these horses on memory, but, you know.
Why do you trust Rude Awakening suddenly?
Andy, I don't trust anybody in here. I don't. I just figured she'd be a decent enough price of. I almost put Miss Mimi on top, and then I saw you did.
You got her fourth, Anthony, so you didn't almost put her on top.
No,
Let's
I
not
did.
get carried away.
I almost, and then, her race going to the bench at Monmouth was just, it was not good.
Well, she's off the claim, Miss Mimi,
Yeah.
for Eddie Barker. She has back races that make her very much a player in here. There's no question she's gone the wrong way. But Eddie's waited a while to bring her back. Now, he's waited a while to bring her back, and now he runs it for $10,000. So that's a bit of a concern. But she has run cheaper.
It's an owner reclaim, too. Gary Gullo used to train this horse for Pristine Stable. Gary's obviously not training anymore.
I don't love the 9 Miss Mimi. I'll put it this way. I'm
listen,
not betting Rude Awakening.
Okay.
I don't trust at all. I wouldn't bet movie score with your money. I have to pick somebody against Fair Regis. I don't like Athwack. Dirty Bird is a slow horse. Cover Photo, I don't know. I just haven't liked this horse. I mean, not saying she can't win, and I'm not sure the big appeal of Hardstone Melody. So I sort of said, you know what? This horse once was good enough. I don't think she's going to be 12-1. Obviously, I'm assuming that the 1 was the second choice on the morning line and scratched. So was the 1 the second choice?
No, you got a 7-2 and a 4-1. Yeah, you think maybe Western Please was shorter?
No, Western Please was 6-1 morning line.
No.
Really?
Oh.
I thought she was one of the ones to beat.
Well, she was the 4th choice.
She was 6. She would never have been 6-1.
I don't.
Really?
They bet the Linda Rice horses. They don't bet the Packwick horses.
Linda Rice wins this race. I know I'm going to lose. I don't love anybody. I'm going to use a 7-9. I thought it was a tricky race. It's another race where you're playing, can you trust me? And I don't trust a lot of runners in this race.
Right. Then they're going to play that a lot in the bottom level claim.
Race number 5. Race number 5 was a fascinating race. Where'd you go in race number 5?
I went to the Jorge Abreu first, Akushla.
Why?
I was not thrilled with any of the runners in here. I have a slight tip on this horse.
You have a tip on Akushla.
Slight.
A tip is a tip.
Yeah, no, I don't think.
Was it just a T and a half an I?
No. Like yesterday.
So you picked Akushla, you have a tip on. Let's just be clear.
Do
you have any pedigree discussion you want to have with
Part
Akushla?
of the reason, not particularly.
Okay. Anyway, if you looked up the pedigree, you were looking up pedigree.
I did. I didn't see anything
you didn't look up the
interesting.
pedigree. Sources a half, the 2 horses to try the turf. Both of them won. They ran buyers in the 70s. Even though Dam herself didn't win, this horse has pedigree to be a turf horse, and it's absolutely usable in here. I don't disagree. We'll see.
Well, I didn't really care for any of the runners in here.
Well, I don't think that's really a handicapping angle because you've got a lot of horses that haven't really run, and some have had trips. I would have included Theatrical Dancer in this replay if I knew that they were going to scratch Black Licorice. I did not know that. But let's use Emma and I from this race, who had the 1. And this was the first race Emma and I ran. It was a 6-furlong turf sprint. And now she has to stretch out. But she gets a rider switch from Heman Harkey to Trevor McCarthy. And I think this horse can actually run a little bit. Just a situation where Harkey allowed this horse to get totally shuffled out. I think one of the problems, because you can see the horse actually has a little speed, and now you see the 2 horse in front of her is completely backing her through the field. She's getting shuffled back behind the 2 horse. She went from being in a virtually contending position to all the way back in last. I mean, this should never have happened. She could easily have been in that spot in the 4th and 5th horse in the sweet spot. So now she just keeps going back and back, and she's on the rail. And she's going to sort of now she leaves the picture on the inside. When she reappears in the picture, she's going to be moving to the outside. There's her little head in there. He's going to move her to the outside. And I'm going to tell you something. Given the trip this horse got, and this is a monumentally strong rider change, this horse is way out in the middle of the track, actually did a little bit of running. I know it's a turf race, and losing by 5 lengths is like losing by a mile, but this horse is out in the middle of the racetrack and only gets beat a handful of lengths in a race where the horse was given absolutely no chance whatsoever. Now, I thought Theatrical Dancer was a bit wide in there, did have a bit of a trip as well, but I'm not sure that horse really did that much running and does draw an outside post. I think that, I know Emma and I can run a little bit. Like you, I don't think there are any killers on paper. I mean, Mendham is the worst to beat. You don't think Mendham's the worst to beat?
Yeah, and how much running did Mendham really do
Not that
last
much.
time?
It's the worst to beat. Not that much, but keep in mind.
Emma and I felt like there was going to take a ton of money with the rider change.
No,
you got to stretch
Emma and
out.
I's not taking a ton of money with a rider change. Stop. The horse's last race had Joel Rosario, so it's not a rider change.
But it was
that's
on a dirt track.
Anthony, you don't like the 4.
No, it's not that I don't like it. Listen to me.
It's fine if you don't like the
I'm
4.
I'm going to use her.
Anthony, it's fine if you don't like the 4, but to sit here and say that we're going to take a ton of money in the rider change.
Well, what do you think she's going to be?
She's going to be a nice price. You don't like her, that's fine.
What price do you think she's going to be?
10 to 15 to 1, Anthony. You don't like her, that's fine. It's okay. Don't manufacture a reason not to like her. You don't like her.
I got a 5th.
Okay, Anthony, it's fine.
And I'm using her.
Anthony, it's fine.
But I just thought
Anthony,
she was
it's
going to
fine.
take money.
Can we move on?
Yeah.
The 2 Mendham, slow pace last time. The horse was hurt by a slow pace. So I think that's fair to say the horse could be closer, and I think Joel will keep that horse in game. You want to go to rider? That horse getting Joel Rosario, it's not going to hurt. What about Cosmet?
But he's getting Joel Rosario from Jose Ortiz.
I understand. I love Jose. How well did he ride here last month? That was not the Jose Ortiz that won an Eclipse Award, with all due respect.
But when I'm not talking about
Anthony, let's
money,
theatrical dancer a little bit dangerous in here. Other horses, the 7 Cosmet, who could be in front in here. What about Cosmet? You know that Charlie Marquez is going with this horse.
I liked Cosmet last time as well, and I think stretching out. Yeah, I mean, this horse is supposed to be in front today.
What do you like about Stella Mars? You've got her 4th.
You know, the blinkers go on for the 3rd start. I like the rider change here to Dylan. I thought this horse ran okay first time out. Kind of lost all chance last time. Now the blinkers go on. My worry is they see the outside draw and they're going to think they're going to have
this horse going to
get. Yeah, I understand that. But
I
I thought
position.
this horse at a price, if this horse can improve after losing a lot of her chance second time out, if she can improve off the debut from the outside draw sprinting, maybe she could find a spot in here. I don't know. See if Calmset goes. If Calmset goes,
well, how
maybe
can
Dylan
Calmset
could just
go?
follow him over. Well, she's supposed to. Maybe she can just follow her
Well,
over.
it's not as simple as that because there's other speeds. The 2 can go. Why wouldn't Emma and I be forward? She could
Well,
have
at
been
the very
forward
least,
last
get
time.
position from the outside and following the 7.
That's the first 5. Lace number 5 starts the late pick 5. We'll be back with the late pick 4 after a quick break.
It only takes 20 cents to take down an Empire. The Empire 6 is the jackpot 20-cent pick 6 bet that's offered every day at the Big A. One unique winning ticket earns the entire net pool plus the jackpot carryover. Without a unique ticket, 75% is distributed to winners with 25% added to the jackpot. Win big with the Empire 6.
For details on the Empire 6 and mandatory payout dates, visit nyra.com/Empire6 today.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Trying to get some, by the way, some clarity on the contests.
I couldn't find it.
Because I don't think we're still running those Saturday contests. Somebody told me we're on the website trying to get some clarity on that. Sorry if there's any confusion on that. Of course, it'd be helpful if, no, whatever. Race number 6.
I also couldn't hear Francisco talking a second.
So race number 6. Let's take a look at a stat on this entry for Rob Atras, the one Lil Commissioner and the 1A American Power, because in a lot of ways the race sort of centers around them. Even though I'm not thrilled, it's got great numbers coming off wins in the dirt.
That's a big number.
Staggeringly good numbers.
That's a big number.
Now,
and for a barn that takes a lot of money, that's a nice ROI.
Now, I guess Lil Commissioner only came up with that race last time because I made a big bet on Tiz He the Law, who ran second, or whatever his name was, at 5 to 1 or some crazy
Great
price.
ride. That was one of Manny Franco should put that one on his highlight reel. That was a great ride.
American Power, when they have the Eclipse Award for They Knew this year, Rob Atras will have 5 nominations for it. They were all in that period of time. He'll be one of them. How he was favored in that last race, I don't think that there's Ripley actually dropped dead when he saw he was favored because he was so in such disbelief.
Surprised Linda didn't scratch Taylor Silence just to avoid these 2 beats that she took with Tizzy to 1 the last 2 times from these 2 horses, respectively.
American Power also won in a period of time where every single Rob Atras horse was running huge.
Well, so to me, American Power, I don't like American Power here. I think if part of this entry is going to win, I think it's going to be Lil Commissioner.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't really like Lil Commissioner because I think so much had to go right for him last time to get the money that, and let's be honest, there were some horses in here where he's going to have to run a lot better than he ran last time to get a piece of this.
I don't.
You don't think so? I mean, Home Base has a handful of races on his card.
Oh, speaking of Home Base,
they all have races.
I'd like to see. It's nice to have Pablo Morales back here, and we'll look at Home Base last time out. Boy, he had a lot of speed off the trainer change to Peter Miller, and don't you think they're supposed to do the same thing here and go to the front with him?
This was kind of a weird race. Looking at bikinis, didn't go to the lead. Hog Creek Hustle was in front of him the whole step of the way. And Hog Creek Hustle, Grade 1 winner, won out Woody Stevens last year, winds up getting the money. This horse ran huge last time. And now you're asking him to get on a van 2 weeks later and come up here and, you know, he's got to cut back. He's got a good record at the distance. I understand that. But you're asking an awful lot of him off that race, aren't you?
Well, you've got a trainer who wins, and
You
he's
do.
asking an awful lot of him. He knows he's coming back on short rest. I don't know. I'm hoping he wires Phil. I had a lot of trouble with this race. I thought it was a very tough race because the other thing is, I don't want to pick Mios on top. I absolutely agree with you.
I didn't want
Mios
to either.
horse to beat in this race if he runs his race. I don't trust this horse at all. He's a total Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah. If Home Base had a month between starts, I would have been right there with you with Home Base. And they're the 2 I'm using in here.
I mean, Rios was compromised by a slow pace last time. I thought he actually ran okay 2 back. He is an unfortunate
Well, he was
closer
kind of compromised when Lenstar was just able to go to the lead.
Never gets any pace.
Never gets
in his
any
races.
pace. And I would, you know, I understand Home Base came firing first time off the Peter Miller claim.
I don't trust him to come back. But
And I know he's not fair, but you think you're bringing Dr. Blarney down here to not be aggressive? I know if they're both...
I think he'll be sitting second. I do.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at him. By the way,
Such
I'm
a
not
cool
saying
horse,
Home Base has to have the lead to win. Dr. Blarney, I wanted to show a race of his from Fort Erie because I don't think he's good enough to win this race, and this was sort of a ridiculous
He's
race
such
he
a
was
cool
running
horse.
in. I like how they're sort of focusing on the other horses, the also-rans.
Trying to keep them all in the frame. I actually have respect for that.
22 for 31 lifetime.
Homebred
Hit
from
the
my man
board.
Joe DeRico. Yeah.
He's your man, Joe DeRico?
He's a.
I know Joe.
He's a fun. This is a fun horse. Real fun horse.
This is one of the coolest horses in racing. I mean, 28 for 31 in the money with 22 wins. I don't think he's good enough, but I think he's the coolest horse.
This is his first start on the circuit? I think it is.
I don't remember him ever running.
No,
here
me
before.
either.
7-year-old, soon to be 8. He won The Last Dance. Is that because of the TV show with Michael Jordan? What about Taylor Silence? First time for Linda.
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 he was overmatched, but he didn't.
Well, he's better than he should have run in there. Yeah. You don't think this horse has some ability. I know he's getting old. This horse has some good. This horse won the Westchester.
Been a while.
Do you know who was favored in that Westchester? I'm not sure who was favored. Do you know who ran 4th in that Westchester?
Cloud computing.
Wow, that was good.
I couldn't remember it all. I was going through the silks. I was running
impressive.
through the names just now.
Yeah, and he got hurt.
I think I was a Mohegan Sun for that. Is that Derby Day?
No, it was the day before the Derby. Me?
No, it's Derby Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because I think I left.
They always run the Westchester on Derby Day. Because Tonalist won it when American Pharaoh.
Is that 18?
18.
Who won the 18 Derby?
Justify.
Oh, yeah. Right.
That was Derby Day.
Yeah.
I was in Connecticut.
Easy horse to remember. He only ran 6 times. Race number 7, moving on. I thought the key to race number 7 was, even though this horse that you have on top can win, you're supposed to bet against the number 9 in this race so high. It's going to be a short price.
Why do you think that?
I actually feel very strongly that turf racing is about trips. Not only, where you're going to get today, but more importantly, what kind of trips you got in previous. This is about the luckiest winner. And I would say at Naira, if I made a list of the 5 luckiest winners, outside of Queen Kahan earlier this year at Aqueduct, way back, this horse has to be there. First of all, the ride this horse got from Joel was is perfect the rise you could get. Second of all, as you may recall, Dream Friend got caught up in a ridiculous pace scenario. Dream Friend should have won this race by 3 lengths. He saved ground. Everything went perfectly. And I think what's important to note about him, and I don't think he's going to be 7-2. I think he's going to be considerably shorter because the fig. He's got no other fig to back that race up. So you have to ask yourself where it came from. If Malathiel was in here, the horse who ran second, I think it would give you an idea of just the kind of horse that he beat, and he had a better trip than Malathiel. I'm not going to be shocked if he wins. He got Joel Rosario, probably get another good trip here. But he's about as dressed up as a horse can be, Anthony.
I also, I understand what you're saying. The blinkers came off last time, so maybe that helped.
Anthony, the trip helped.
His 2 best races in America have come at the shorter distances. They tried this horse going longer.
He ran 80 and 81 buyers, which give him a chance to get a piece here. In his, I think he's spectacularly dressed up. I'm not going to be shocked if he wins, but he's spectacularly dressed up off of an unbelievably fortunate trip last time out. And now he's got to work out the right trip in here. And there's an awful lot going on in this race, don't you think, Anthony?
Well,
you don't? You clearly don't.
I don't. I want the horses that are kind of in form a little bit.
Well, okay, you've got Jack the Cat off a win. You've got Good Old Boy off a win. You've got Ghost Giant off a win. You've got VIP Nation off a win.
But Ghost Giant had a great
You just said you wanted the horse in good form. You've got Abesa 1, who's coming off a nice third. Hit It Once More. Let's take a look at Hit It Once More and Giant Ryan last time, because I think Ghost Giant, I know that I have Ghost Giant second, and I don't have Hit It Once More anywhere else. And that is an odd opinion, because Hit It Once More is the one who did the dirty work in this race. He was the one who was dueling, and he held on very, very well in this race. And Ghost Giant got an absolutely perfect trip. My problem is, Hit It Once More is supposed to have to deal with VIP Nation. Kendrick is supposed to go with that one. I don't really trust Hit It Once More to win, but I will say he ran fairly well last time. Ghost Giant still won fairly easily. He was unlucky in a prior start. He's run well in this course. He should get a good trip. I know he's got Vargas. Vargas has got to put him in a good spot. That's a hit or miss thing. But you say, I want the horse in good form. This race is shockingly, for a race being run in mid-December on the turf, it's chock full of horses in good form.
Yeah, but we haven't seen Good Old Boy for a couple of months. We haven't seen Jack the Cat in the same time.
You said you want a horse in good form. There's nothing but horses in this race coming in this race in good form. That's all I'm saying. I think Jack the Cat got lucky and beat a terrible field last time.
Yeah.
I think Good Old Boy I bet him last time. He got a perfect trip and a fast pace and a good setup. I don't think he's good enough to beat these horses. So it's not a question of form. Now, as far as attentive, well, you have second, so obviously you don't particularly disagree with me. At the end of the day, he ran against an arguably better field, and this horse was 3 to 4 wide the entire way around the racetrack last time and never gave up for the final stages. I thought this horse ran a giant race for Tom Morley off the claim, and I really think Tom improved this horse substantially, and it doesn't really show unless you watch the race.
So I admittedly don't have a morning line here, and I did not look at it. Had I know, see, I thought this race would be.
You think So High would be like 12 to 1 in here?
No, I thought So High would be. If I'm being honest, I thought So High would be 6 and Attentive would be 8. I really did, because
I thought So High would be 2 to 1 or 5 to 2 in here.
Wow.
It's an 88 buyer figure off a win.
Yeah, but it's a 3 lifetime, and horses running against open claimers now. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think that Dave is going to guarantee he's going to get every horse right in here, and I don't think
No,
Attentive's going
I'm not. This
But
is not
Attentive's
an
also got
indictment
Charlie
on David.
Marquez on the turf, or people running to bet Charlie on the turf. I like Charlie.
You think the filly's going to be shorter than Attentive?
I don't think VIP Nation could win this race if they ran it 467
That wasn't the question I asked
times.
you. I asked you, you think she'll be shorter?
I don't get into
That's what I'm
the
just saying.
I'm not
I
getting
was
into the
just surprised when I
minutia
looked up.
of a 12-horse field
No, when I
of which
looked up and
horse
saw
is
that
going
this horse was the 7-2 favorite, I was just surprised. That's all.
there's no chance in the world that So High won't be favored in here. VIP Nation's rode a gold rail to victory last time in the slowest pace race of the century and has about as much chance to win this race as you and I had a horse to. She should be 80 to 1 in this race, in my opinion. I don't see how she could possibly. I don't care if she gets loose in the lead. But she's not supposed to.
You want wrapped for 2 lunches against VIP Nation?
Oh my! You've got VIP Nation third?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I want everybody in the race over VIP Nation. Wrapped? Yeah, for 2 lunches? Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Yes. 7 over 4, 2 lunches?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. 51. You know, you haven't bought me like a lunch in forever. Can I get like a?
Dude, I
can
haven't
I
seen
get
you.
like a? You see me every day.
Yeah, but you always you're toting something.
You know, I want
or-
like one of
I
those.
don't know what your
those
deal
good
is with the
pastrami
COVID.
sandwich.
It's the place been closed for a year.
Is it closed?
Told you this.
They had such good hot pastrami. They're
No,
closed?
but I told you the mustard sauce is the trick. I don't know what you did with the problem here is.
Closed because of COVID?
No,
Oh, is that the place we were talking about?
no.
Oh, different place.
We're talking about one of the most legendary Jewish delis of all time, Ben's Best, in Regal Park on Queens Boulevard. No, this was an Italian bagel place.
It's closed?
It's been closed for a year, man.
And you haven't found another pastrami place for me?
No, I'm not a pastrami guy. I just, the rumors were true. Maggie loved it too. I'm not a pastrami guy. No corned beef, no pastrami.
How about tongue? Where do you stand on tongue?
No, I got enough. I got enough of my own. No, not a corned beef and pastrami.
Race number-
Now, brisket, I'll eat brisket all day.
We got more work to do.
Hey,
here,
man, you
okay?
brought it up. You
You're
wanna
right.
start and
You're
stop
right.
me on the
You're
food.
right. You're right. You're right. My
Brought it
fault.
up.
I agree. You're right. When you're right, you're right. Race number 8. 6 never. This is a great race. I like the 4 in here, Edge of Fire. I love when I come with a horse in the race like this and they scratch it. And I'm kind of annoyed. Now, I got some love for this horse, but that being said, so the horse to beat is the horse you have on top, More Grateful. Here's my problem, Anthony. Once again, you got the money last time out at almost 6 to 1, and now you're going to take the horse at half the price in a tougher, more competitive race. Aren't you supposed to try to beat? You got the money, move on.
But why would I try to beat him if I think he can win?
Of course he can win. Well, it's a different pace scenario. He was on a very moderate pace in this race, and I'm going to tell you something else about it last time. This was a they knew. They knew this guy was going to run. And I know the Brad Cox juggernaut. We'll see. I don't know. This 5 to 1. This horse was 8 to 1 morning line. This horse could have been a bigger price that day. They knew. He ran good. I don't disagree. He's the horse to beat off that race. But I feel like you got the money last time. You're supposed to move on today.
Listen, the only other place I would have moved on to would have been ahead of plan.
Well, you could have moved on to him. We'll hold up on the replay. I think there's a lot going on in here. First of all, he's got to deal with Foolish Ghost. I'm not buying the fig of Foolish Ghost last race. I think that race was faster than the fig suggests. That's the problem that More Grateful has. He's got to deal with a real speed in Foolish Ghost. And Dylan's going. And he's not a horse that just gives up around the turn. He's a fighter. I mean, he's in great form. He's in career best form,
He is.
Foolish Ghost.
He absolutely is.
For a number of guys. I think Charlie McCoy is going to run better. I know the fig wasn't fast last time. I like Charlie McCoy, and I think he's going to run a lot better second off a leg.
I do too. I do too.
I think he's going to be a player in this race. And I think it could get a little bit hot up front. I wish Morning Breeze was more of a winner. Money Ride's moving up, but Money Ride is in great form. I don't think you can deny that he's in great form in this race. I'm not against More Grateful. Excuse me, I need to clear my throat.
More Grateful's race last time out.
Was good. It's going to probably win this race.
And if
but
he
I don't,
finds it again.
Where is it in his PPs?
No, listen.
Where is that race in his PPs?
Listen, I understand that, and Foolish Ghost has handled them pretty easily in the past. I get all of it. I do. I get all of it.
I just feel
but
like
he's not going to have to do the dirty work on Foolish Ghost today.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. That Foolish Ghost's going to win because he's the second speed. Ahead of Plan's a very funny horse in this race. We'll take a look at his debut, and this is going back 2018. And had a good trip. He had no excuse to lose, but he lost to Endorsed. And Endorsed is a pretty darn good horse. And Endorsed had a better trip because he sat on the gold rail the whole way. And Letter Plan was a bit off the rail in here, and he ran him down. Then he comes back 10 months later. And for some reason, they took his speed away, and he was 4 or 5 wide against the goldest of gold rails. That was the first race on Belmont Stakes weekend. That's when we found out there was a gold rail. Obviously, something went wrong when he returned at Saratoga, but we know he's refound his form because he's been very good in the grass.
Yes, he has.
But there's no guarantee that he's a grass horse. I mean, he can handle the grass. There's no guarantee, he's not a dirt horse. Because this horse ran very well in his first 2 dirt races.
His first dirt race is his fastest figure. In his second dirt race, he was
has a monster
against
excuse.
it. Yep.
Monster excuse. He could be okay. And I'll tell you
And
something.
you could say he needed the race at Saratoga off the long break, and
Right.
they just moved him to the turf.
He ran very well last time also ahead of Plan. I think if you want to look at it, that's the best of the turf races he ran. Because he
race
was
last
in
time
a
against the
much
rest,
tougher
I don't
horses.
disagree.
And he was game. He was fighting. He couldn't get the lead. This horse could be okay. Now, I don't know. Maybe he wants the turf now and he's gotten older and he's finicky and he doesn't want the dirt anymore. But this horse can win. It's a good race.
I put him, yeah. I mean, we kind of see the race the same way.
Well, I like the 4.
Right.
He scratched. It's a big disappointment. Some good stuff going on, by the way, Anthony, and you're missing it. I'm just pointing it out. Anybody else? Oh, let's talk about the 13 in here. Oh, no, Bust and Shout. Aragona likes Bust and Shout in here. I was talking about it, we were texting about it, his race 2 back on the dirt. I don't disagree with him. I think that figure's too low. Power Up Painter came back and ran a big figure out of that. The problem I have with him is, he's the speed horse too that's got to go. I forgot about him.
Notice something lately, by the way?
What?
And you talk about this a lot more than I do. When we talk about the figures that are coming back lower than you think they are, they're all on wet tracks.
Yeah, that's possible. It's possible.
There's been 3 of them today, and they've been all wet tracks.
I don't know.
It's weird,
is it
right?
possible in wet tracks that tracks change sometimes?
Maybe.
And
I don't know.
It's hard to really to figure.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, Timeform US has this a very fast race. The thing is, see, he injects speed in here because one thing they know about him, he needs to be forward to be effective.
That's what I think he's going to do the dirty work on Foolish Ghost.
Well, More Grateful was able to just hang around on a moderate pace last time, and he's not going to get that trip today.
No, he's not going to get that trip.
You're assuming he's going to be as effective
He's
in
not
a
gonna get that
faster-paced
trip.
race where he's got to be forward.
He does have to do that. He's going to have to be able to come from a little
Anthony,
further off the lead.
I'm never going to pick the More Gratefuls of the world if I'm you.
That's
ever.
fine. Well,
last week, I suffered through one winner after the other that I bet the time before at huge prices that ran second. They came back to win at short prices. I'm not betting those horses.
Okay.
I understand he can win. I don't have an argument with that. But as a horse player, I think you have to make decisions. I think the race, the picks have to reflect who you're betting on. And for me, I would never bet More Grateful if I'm you. I would. He's an A in any pick 5s you play or pick 4s. But I think you're supposed to bet against him today because last time was the time, and you got the money. So what do you need him for today as your top choice? That's all. Race number 9. You know, Violent I Am, is it Violent I Am or Violent TM?
Violent I Am.
Why not make it 3 words? Why Violent I Am?
I wasn't there when they
I don't
sent
like
it to
that
the Jockey
name, by
Club,
the way.
man.
I didn't like the name Violence.
I do.
We'll get to that in a second. I think he's a better dirt
That I
horse.
like Violence? He is a better dirt horse. I don't disagree with that either.
No, I hate the name.
She.
I don't think
Oh.
we should name horses Violence and Violent.
I mean, the sire's
There's
name
enough
is
problems
Violence.
in this world.
Yeah, sticks and stones.
I hated the name. No, I hate the name. I thought Violence was an awful name for a horse. I thought it was aggressive. That's all.
Some people like aggressive.
I know, but it's not really helping. I thought this horse ran terrific in the race we just watched. That was a fast pace. Now, does it bother you that She's a Pretty Lady's turned out to not be much horse?
Shane's Pretty Lady came back and ran 3rd the other day.
Wasn't a particularly good third. How much did
No.
she get beat?
She had a,
Didn't the winner win by 50?
yeah.
Winner's pretty
Ran into a
good.
Real horse, yeah.
Winner's pretty good.
I ran into a real horse.
Good New York breds this weekend.
Yeah. How about Sharp Star? We didn't talk about her at all.
Well, wet track. I want to see her do it again on a dry track, but she seems to have turned the corner. I agree. She could have a big winter.
Yep.
No, I agree. She's got to do it again on a dry track, but now she's got 2 fast figs in a
you
row.
have the same 1, 2, 3. I couldn't find any. I mean,
I was not clever in this race.
maybe Nebo cutting back, dropping back down. I don't know. Guessing a little bit with the Paz.
Wow, we have the same 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
We differ. Well, my 4th choice was She's a Majestic. You've got
My
Wayne
4th
Potts.
choice was Little Ms. Scarlet.
Wow. We even had a scratched horse.
I double scratched into my 4th horse. I had to send him a 6th pick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't want to. There's nothing to really get. I don't
There's
think there's anything to
nobody
get
in this
clever
race
about here.
that's done any running besides the 2. 2's going to be a favorite. I mean, the annoying thing about, I wish this race was the first leg of the pick 5, so I could single Violent I Am, you know, and just hope to get through it.
It's such a.
There are a lot of people that say they like their singles at the end. I want to get it over.
No.
With. I don't get it at all.
Oh no!
Right.
Where do those people reside?
People are different.
Wow.
They're funny. Because I get,
That's like the ultimate action junkie, though, right?
no.
You want to just have everything falling on the.
I disagree in
on 4 hooves?
one respect.
Wow.
If, let's say you loved a horse in the
Not
last
me.
race and the horse is whatever price, and you think, I want to make a big bet on this horse. So instead of making a bet, I'm going to try to get alive in the pick 4 or pick 5. That I don't mind. Because then I'm saying, listen, if I wasn't for the pick 4 or pick 5, I'd be making a big win bet on this horse. So if I get alive to that one horse
Don't
in the
have to
last
do it.
leg, I don't mind because that's the reason I structured the play. In that case, I actually like it as the last leg because I'll know by then if I have to bet the horse to win or if not.
Oh, and I'm not sitting here and saying that I purposely find horses in the last leg to use. If I thought Violent I Am was a single, I'd single.
That's not what I said. If you let me finish, what I'm saying is there are scenarios where you don't mind having a single in the last leg.
If you really like the horse, no, of course not.
Well, also because say you play a pick 3 to try to single horse in the last leg, and you think, I'm going to try to turn this 4-to-1 shot into a 15-to-1 shot. You'll know if you're alive or not, you'll bet the horse or not to win. And that's something you can do in here. But if in a race where you've got a bunch of opportunities, in the end of the day, do you really trust Violent I Am? And I'm going to say something else.
No, she would never be a single for me.
Jorge Vargas needs to get more aggressive around here.
See, a lot of people would take your thinking here and single her in the pick 5, and if she got beat, come back and play pick 4. But you can't do that, obviously.
Well, I think
this
this is an interesting sequence because there are opportunities to get prices in every single leg leading up to it. That's why I kind of like it as a sequence. And then you get to this favorite. I've not been impressed we've seen from Jorge Vargas. I think he's gotten a lot of live horses so far, and I think he has an opportunity to do well here, but he needs to be more aggressive. Is that fair?
I don't. Listen, but you're asking. That's a loaded question to ask me because I think I think everybody in the room needs to get more aggressive.
No, there's some guys here that are pretty aggressive. I don't think that's
There's never for a guy that doesn't like violence. You're okay with aggression.
aggressive riding. Violent I Am. Isn't that just kind of a mean name?
It's like Yoda. Violent I am.
Yoda?
Star Wars. No go.
I watched some of the beginning movies. I saw the first three.
He was in the first one.
Was it? No, it was first or second. I think it was the first one. Yeah.
Yoda.
Well, of course I saw Star Wars in the late 70s. I saw the one that came out in this, like
I had
the
a good
Phantom
one
Menace,
yesterday.
maybe?
I had a good one yesterday. I was told by 2 people they had never seen Die Hard.
That's disgraceful.
And if they get into and they're supposed to watch it, and then if they're supposed to tell me that it's a Christmas movie, if they tell me it's not a Christmas movie, we're gonna have a big problem.
You know, that's the subway station where he gets the phone call outside in Die Hard with a Vengeance. That's my subway station.
I didn't know that.
That's 72nd on Broadway. Station right in the middle. They were filming it at like 6 in the morning because Sean was staying with me. And he doesn't sleep. And so I was sleeping. He got up and he said, I was up early. I was walking around. I saw Bruce Willis. They're filming a Die Hard movie.
Die Hard 73.
What's that?
Die Hard 73.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah. That was like the third, right?
That's the third.
Die Hard. Die Hard is one of the last really good popcorn movies. They just don't make good popcorn movies
I
anymore.
feel like it not only is it a Christmas movie, but I feel like it is I think it's the greatest action movie of all time.
Alan Rickman, so great.
We need a whole other hour, but I don't know if there's a better action movie than Die
So,
Hard.
all of this fun.
But Christmas in Hollis is on the soundtrack, so it's a Christmas movie.
I don't
on
think
DMC.
of things in terms of Christmas. But Elf.
Elf is
Elf is a great movie.
Elf is amazing.
Anyway, head over to Naira Bets. All this fun. Head over to Naira Bets if you're not a member. Sign up. Match 200. Use the promo code Match 200. We will match them to $200 initial deposit. Support racing in New York. Play through Naira Bets. 50-50 on the app only. 50 or more here and Tampa. Give you a $10 bonus.
That's where I get Francisco from.
From where?
Elf.
Oh, is that? Oh.
When James Caan takes Will Ferrell to work for the first time, hey Susan, and he walks in and then, hi, I'm Francisco. Ooh, Francisco,
That's
that's
right.
fun to say.
Yeah. I never saw that movie for years and years, and everybody was telling me it was funny, and I just watched it one day on TV, and like,
Fantastic.
unbelievable.
James Caan, Mary Steenburgen, Zoe
Deschanel.
Emily Deschanel.
No, it's Zoe. No.
I'm gonna go with Emily.
Okay, how many lunches?
Name it.
2.
Done. Watch this, folks. You're getting the real time here.
Wow. This is a good ending of the show. You think it's Emily Deschanel?
I know it's Emily Deschanel.
I might lose 2 lunches.
2 lunches to get
Can I
to
make
49?
it 1 because you're so certain?
No, you can't. 2. This is
It's
a
Zoe.
verbal contract.
Maggie says Zoe.
Maggie's wrong.
Maggie's never wrong.
Okay.
Maggie's never wrong. Maggie said it's so fast. Boy, if Maggie and I are both wrong on this, it's Zoe. Zoe.
Wow.
I happen to love Zoe, so I was going to be pretty amazed if I was wrong. 53 lunches, that is. And what better way to end the show and send it up to John Imbrial? He'll be crying. If we just have like a single on him for a while, you'll be seeing the tears coming. John Imbrial up next, the reprise, the Scratches and Changes.